Good morning, my name is George Varughese. I'm the newly appointed General Manager of the JW Marriott Phuket Resort and Spa. So I'm so excited to be in Phuket, and it's a lovely destination, and I look forward to working with my team here and really take on the tradition, the legendary services of this hotel forward, and in fact to a new level with the help of the team. When I graduated, hospitality was sort of the buzz career people trying to get into, and given the growth of hospitality in Asia Pacific, and I think that sort of got me thinking about the hospitality industry. But I also grew up in a small town, in a place called Batu Gajah, and growing up in a small town, you tend to know people, you are less rigid. People come and go from your house, and I remember as a family, we were always having visitors, and it's all part of the hospitality feel. I think that resonated well from just growing up with that experience. And in fact, coming to Phuket reminds me a lot about my growing up and where I grew up. And I think that's sort of what really got me started. And I also did an internship in my very early days, for free in fact. I worked for free in an international hotel chain in Kuala Lumpur, and I did that for 3 months. And I really enjoyed it. So I think that sort of cemented my interest in this business. A lot of people inspires me. In fact, my team inspires me every day, right? My family inspires me, right? In our company, I think Marriott is one of those great companies. Mr. Marriott is an inspiration as a great leader. A company that started by his father and by his parents in 1927, and that has evolved over 90 years. And he's taken on the reign of what his parents started, and he's taken on to a whole different level. He's probably inspiration. I'm inspired by successful people who are very grounded, humbled, despite their success. And so, there's a lot of inspiration to take from that. There's a lot of inspiration to take from people who are out-of-the-box thinkers, who challenge status quo, and really do things for the greater good of what can be done, right? And always challenge oneself and a company, how do we do better than yesterday? So, Marriott's philosophy is about success is never final. One of the other core values of our company is, take care of your associates. Happy associates who take care of customers. And I think that's, the DNA, the success of this company, coming back again to creating an environment where people can really succeed. So I think that's a great inspiration by itself. I've been in the business now for close to 30 plus years. It doesn't show in my age, but yeah, there you go. I grew up in Malaysia. I was very blessed, fortunate that my folks were able to send me overseas to study hotel management in Austria, a place called Bad Hofgastein. It was all in German, so I had to speak the language. Did that, finished and graduated. After 3 years, I worked in a few places in Germany and then in Austria. But I started with this company, Renaissance Hotels in Vienna. And I grew with the company into multiple departments and had great mentorship. And with Renaissance, I then moved to the US. And I was in US in Los Angeles with Renaissance. And again, went up the ranks into senior leadership. And Marriott then bought Renaissance brand back in 97, 98, and we became a Marriott company. So 10 years with Renaissance brand and then Marriott. And I was in the States for about 5 years and then moved to China. Again, to be challenged and, like simply this whole interest to travel in the hospitality business. So took up a role in China, worked in 4 places in China for about 5 years. Went back to Malaysia, after 20 years. Did a GM job in Malacca, then moved to Australia 12 years ago. Took up a job in Surfers Paradise and then Melbourne for 8 years. And now I'm here in Thailand, in this beautiful country, where I actually first came to Bangkok, opened a new hotel in Bangkok, and now here in Phuket. So, it's a very interesting journey. I say I'm very blessed to be able to do what I like, able to see the world and get paid for it. I think it always comes back to people. It is a people business. I always say the success of my people are my success, and it works vice versa. So, they are truly the asset. So how do we make sure that we inspire like I've been inspired and I've been mentored by a lot of great leaders in my years. So I think that's very important. You can't do things on your own. Number two is all about team dynamic. And number three is, I always say, I think leadership is a privilege, right? It's not a God-given right? So it comes with a lot of responsibility. To be in this leadership team, how do you motivate your teams, right? To inspire them so that they are able to grow and really work in an environment where they are able to prosper, right? So lastly probably is, making sure it's a win-win strategy, right? So everyone wins in the game. Hotels provide a lot of people an industry within an industry, right? You can be in finance, you can be in sales, you can be in the front operations with people, you can be in food and beverage, you can be in culinary, if you like cooking, if you like housekeeping, if you like spa, there's also a variety of industries within a hotel. I like the global perspective of this business as well, able to meet a lot of interesting people, listening to their stories. So I think it's a fun business to be in. In fact, it's a growth industry. People are traveling more. And I think people have a lot of opportunity to see the world, and it's actually becoming cheaper to travel, with a lot of opportunity to visit places, a lot of opportunity to stay in variety of accommodation levels, right? So I think it's great. It's a great place, great business to be in. Lots of things. But I think the moments of truth, positive results obviously is always good to hear. But when you hear fantastic feedback from customers, right? What I call the moments of truth, right? When customers have experienced fantastic service all around, and that service that is carried on or provided by our associates, right? People on the ground, which just then says that we're doing something right within the organization. But we also take feedback, right? And we also ensure that, whatever feedback a customer is trying to tell us, we take it on positively and work on trying to find solutions. So I think, those are, one of those things that really gives you a reason, inspires me to why I like this industry so much. That's a very important question, right? I was, very privileged to do an MBA a few years ago, and really things that you learn from that is, how do you start thinking differently? How do you ask a lot of new questions, right? Thinking out of the box. And I think one of the biggest takeaways, you got to read, you got to make sure you're constantly reading, constantly having not so much a tunnel vision, but an open mind to look at things differently from a different perspective. And the world is constantly changing. So, as they say, the only thing that's consistent is change. I think being relevant to current trends, you might not have all the right answers, but evaluating and seeing where the market is moving is, I think, a very, very important component to any business moving forward. Yeah, I think that's a good question, but I think in principle, there's really no difference whether it's the West or the East, right? Hospitality is about customers, right? So if you're able to take care of your customers, right, they are the reason you're in business, right? And so the level of services that is offered in different parts of the world varies, and the expectation of customers varies. But I think one thing that does not change is the level of quality of service, right? And so it's important to make sure that whatever part of the world you're serving or whichever part of the world you're operating, we just need to understand the cultural norms and how things operate. And so at what degree of hospitality that you're able to offer, right? And sure, here in Asia, we are so blessed being able to see that cultural piece ingrained in a lot of the cultural norms in Asia. And so especially given Thailand as a great example where the hospitality of the Thai people, the whole element of mindfulness is so very much in the forefront. And it makes it easier as a hospitality company to operate. And I think there's some great learnings in this part of the world. Oh, I think there's always, you go back 50 years or 100 years, there's always going to be challenges, right? I think what's certainly very much in the forefront is technology and the speed of change, right? Information change. So how do we keep up to trends? How do you ensure that the disruptors that are coming out from all over the place, right, affecting all the industries, how do we keep up to those trends? Very important. You have the whole notion of artificial intelligence. How does that play a part? But I think despite all the change, ground the basic fundamental perspective of hospitality, like taking care of your customers, understanding the customer needs, and really working around that and ensuring that people are always sort of checked in and never checked out from a hotel or a business. How do you keep engaging customers moving forward? It's very important. It is also a very, very loud world now, right? People are bombarded with a lot of information. So how do you keep yourself relevant as a business is always going to be crucial, right? It starts with passion. You got to love what you do. Right? It starts with that passion, and you might not have that passion. You build on that passion. Number one is, really the advice is always take on challenges. Be able to maneuver. It's going to be good days and bad days, right? But when you have this solid foundation of passion and really love what you do and making a difference, is very important. Number two is, really work in a place. Make sure you work for a company that provides the environment for you to grow. Like Marriott has done for my career, right? How I've been able to grow and live in different parts of the world with the company, that you seize the opportunity that the company provides. So it's important to work in an environment that promotes growth. Thirdly is really to understand, to talk to a lot of people, especially have good mentors, right? People who have been ahead of the curve, and really listen in on their experiences. And then make that decision on your own, what you want to do with your future and where do you want to go. I think that is so important in any industry you work in, right? As young people come out and grow in this industry, right? The opportunity is right there in front of them, right? So how do you seize that opportunity and be flexible as you maneuver through your career in any industry? Yeah, thank you.